rapper Sean Kingston and his mother, Janice Turner, has been found guilty on all federal charges. Greetings in the name of the Most High, Emperor Haile Selassie I the First and Empress Menen the Balance. Ladies and gentlemen, you know it's the Rasta man with the talent. I'm Rastafari Soldier here of Deep Roots TV. Thanks for tuning in to the Rasta Man channel. If it's your first time, ladies and gentlemen, tuning in, hit that red subscribe button, leave your comment on this one. As it's been announced that rapper Sean Kingston and his mother has been found guilty of all 5 charges by jurors in Fort Lauderdale on federal wire fraud trial. Ladies and gentlemen, this news broke on Friday. Now, the 35-year-old, whose real name is Kisean Anderson, was crushed and kept clasping his hands and crying as jurors read the decision to convict the two of wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. He was accused of a $1 million scheme involving luxury goods along Turner, who is 62. Imagine! Turner has been remanded into federal custody and was taken away by U.S. Marshal as Sean Kingston cried and told them to protect my mother. People, wanna hear what go on? Sean Kingston crying in the courtroom as his mother is led away by U.S. Marshals. This is a lesson. It's a teaching moment for the youths them that think that they can scam people and get away. I know the scamming is easy nyamming, but right now Janice Turner, a big 62-year-old, is in custody, taken away by U.S. Marshals. She didn't get a chance to go home, as Turner was remanded as a flight risk in part of the judge's decision. The judge said because of her testimony on the stand. So it appears that she wasn't even smart enough to keep certain information to herself. Kingston chose not to testify on his own behalf. Very smart. Because when the feds bring you in, they have evidence that's safe or grip tight, they would say. During the trial, there were very many allegations as evidence were presented. Victims who claimed that they were swindled out of high-dollar luxury goods, including, things like console TV, bulletproof Cadillac Escalade. What am I doing with that? And even hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of watches and jewelry. Want to hear this? All these items were seized and rounded up in a raid on Kingston's Southwest Ranch home. The judge said Turner showed throughout the trial that she was the fixer, the nerve center. And in court, she showed that she was in control of the fraud scheme. She also had similar past and conviction on her record. So the judge came down hard on her. Kingston defense painted him as a child who had no knowledge about finance and would spend too much money. Remember, Kisean is a 35-year-old superstar that had a number one beautiful girl in 20 different countries. And his defense excuse was he's a child who had no knowledge about finance and would spend too much money. That the defense did a work with the feds. You heard what the Rasta man said? Because I don't understand what kind of defense that is. The 35-year-old superstar is a child. Now, the article continuing says that Kingston was immediately placed on home detention, but had to meet bond requirement by Thursday, including a $200,000 surety bond in cash, plus putting up relative's house for $500,000. So that's $700,000. He had to cash out the judge $200,000 cash, plus putting up $500,000 in a home. Kingston and his defense team had nothing to say when they walked out the courthouse. And here are them leaving the courthouse because they put up a weak defense. As Sean Kingston leaves the courthouse teary-eyed, sad, because the U.S. Marshal had remanded his mother, Janice Turner, the 62-year-old woman, as Kisean Anderson, a.k.a. Sean Kingston, and his mother, a.k.a. Mama Kingston, has been found guilty on all federal charges. 5 counts of federal fraud. They have been accused of defrauding people over $1 million in luxury items. As Sean Kingston leaves the courthouse on Friday, the downtown Fort Lauderdale courthouse on Friday, he was ordered to house arrest, they would call it, where he would be wearing an ankle monitor. He is ordered to return to court by the judge on July 11th at 9 a.m. for himself and Turner will be sentenced. He will be sentenced at Fort Lauderdale, and it doesn't look good for Janice to be a 62-year-old woman. You are going to be serving federal time at this time. This is a super scammer. You understand? On July 11, 9 a.m., Turner will be sentenced. So Sean Kingston is going to be sentenced at 11. So Kingston is going to have a chance to cry again when he hears the punishment that his mother, 62-year-old, will be sentenced for on wire fraud. Now, this sentence carries a maximum sentence of 20 years. Remember, I'm saying a maximum sentence of 20 years. I am not saying that it's guaranteed that Sean Kingston and his mother, Janice Turner, is going to get 20 years. I'm just saying that the crime that they commit, federal wire fraud of $1 million, carries a maximum sentence of 20 years. Now, Sean Kingston is a famous artist, but he's also from a famous bloodline, because we all know that Sean Kingston is Jack Ruby's grandson. And Jack Ruby is a famous producer in the culture, in the reggae music culture. And it is a shame that a famous gentleman like this could go out in such a, I would say, embarrassing way, because Sean Kingston is not only known in Jamaica, Sean Kingston is known worldwide. And the beautiful girl singer now is going to be known as a scam artist. Kisean Anderson, big man, 35-year-old. It's being reported by the Florida newspaper that Kisean sat with his hands clasped and he was crying as the jurors read their decision to convict them both on federal fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Now you see the conspiracy, that are the serious charge, because it shows that they were in cahoots and it was multiple people. So don't be surprised if other people are indicted or included in this. There were witnesses that were scammed out of their money that were present, that told the judge that they were scammed out of their high dollar items, including a bulletproof Cadillac Escalade and also high dollar jewelry, including, wow, watches and chain. So enough time you see these artists flossing, acting like they're bosses, they're really asses, they're just scammers and have on rental jewelry and using rental products to put off the ideology that they're living this big life. Kisean Anderson, Janice Turner will be sentenced July 11th. Janice will be sentenced at 9 a.m. and Kisean Anderson, better known as Sean Kingston, will be sentenced July 11th at 11 a.m. Good luck to the item. I'm not really, celebrating anyone downfall, but I am using this as a teaching moment to let the youths of today to know that crime pay, but it pays the police and the federal government and the prison system, because I know everyone are going to get away. So do the right thing. You are going to work the mind, and come up with, legal ways to earn or go on the grind. Because listen, it's so long you could survive off of doing crime. Here you have a world-renowned superstar, a man that has his future ahead of him, only 35 years old, born in a foreign, the land of barren, but anyway, he had the opportunity to eat, and he did. And here you see he have fallen rock bottom because he have been convicted now of federal and conspiracy to do wire fraud on a federal level, and his punishment could be up to 20 years. And his mother, big woman, Janice Turner, 62-year-old, in her big time, is looking to do some federal time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Rastafari Soldier here, breaking the news. International superstar, rapper, singer of Jamaican heritage, Sean Kingston, and his mother, Janice Turner, they both have been found guilty on all 5 federal wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud charges in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And this crime carries up to a 20-year stay in the federal pen in the United States of America. And this is a teaching moment. I'm telling the youths them to live upright, stop the scamming, speak the truth, follow the approach. It's Rastafari Soldier here. Thank you for tuning to the Rastaman channel. Leave your comment on this one, ladies and gentlemen. What could have driven Sean Kingston and his mother, big woman, Janice Turner, 62-year-old, to be committing a life of crime, federal crime in the United States of America. Now they have to do federal time. Leave your comment on this one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rastafari, soldier of Deep Roots TV. Crime pays, but the government... Fire,